watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Hello, I'm your host and Superintendent Jason Manuel.
And I'm your co-host, Mason Grace.
Thank you for joining us for this year's final installment of the Germantown Municipal School District Spotlight on Excellence.
Today, we will check in on early literacy instruction across the district with first grade teacher Courtney Berggren and Dr. Ted Fuller to learn about the upcoming GMSD Fine Arts Festival.
Then we will cover some of our favorite highlights from the 2016-2017 school year. From athletics to the arts to the success in the classroom, Germantown Municipal Schools has enjoyed another year in excellence. One of my favorite moments of the school year was when the Tennessee Commissioner of Education recently stopped by one of our schools to watch learning in action. We would like to welcome Miss Berggren from Farmington Elementary School. Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Ms. Berggren, how long have you been at Farmington?
This is my 4th year at Farmington teaching first grade.
Teaching first grade, okay.
Yes.
So what is it about first grade that you like? So if you had to pick one thing.
My favorite thing about first grade, I think, would be watching them grow from the beginning of the year where they come in as kindergartners and then to watch them leave as almost second graders. And really how their reading changes in first grade. They become more confident reading and they start learning to love to read and reading to learn.
So we talked about first grade, what you like about that. What about Farmington? What's special about Farmington to you?
Well, if you've ever been through the doors in Farmington, which I know you have, just the atmosphere, the teacher morale, and the community family feeling that I think everyone has when they come through the doors at Farmington.
Okay, so recently the commissioner came to speak, right?
Yes.
So tell us who the commissioner is and what she does.
Well, the role of commissioner is kind of a strange role in the state. It's kind of like a superintendent of schools, but she works with several different organizations. So not only is she working with the state school board, so they set all the policies that we have to follow, but she's also reporting directly to the governor, and also she's working with the legislature. So she's kind of like the head of education in the state. So for her to come to Farmington, and especially to come visit your classroom, it's really a special deal because they're the visionaries for the district. They're the ones who are saying, here's what schools should look like in the state, and that passes on down to us. We take their vision, their goals, and we make it our own, and that's how we make schools special. So she has been the superintendent since 2015 in January, and she's hit the ground running. She has really transformed the way we are looking at reading in the state, and she's really started a whole initiative around reading in the state.
Very cool. Ms. Berggren, why do you think she's visiting classrooms?
Well, it's part of her Read to Be Ready initiative, and she is doing a tour called the Classroom Chronicles. So she's trying to visit 10,000 teachers to see early literacy, and I think she's really trying to find some bright spots in some classrooms so she can replicate that throughout the state.
So we talked about Farmington. So with Read to Be Ready, why do you think she chose Farmington in your class? What do you think y'all are doing that's special?
Well, our new reading curriculum is Wit and Wisdom, and it really aligns perfectly with her Read to Be Ready initiative. So I was honored that she came to my classroom, but really if she would have gone to any of our classrooms K through 2, she would have seen the Wit and Wisdom lessons being
Taught,
yeah.
So what's different about Wit and Wisdom? You've been teaching 4th grade for 4 years now.
First
First grade for 4 years now. So what do you think's different than the way you used to teach first grade?
Okay, so when I first started teaching reading, it was, these are your skills for the week, this is your story for the week, take out your basil, and now it is, the texts are authentic, they're high quality text. The Wit and Wisdom curriculum is based, there's 4 different modules and they're all based around a theme. So there's no just these skills this week, we kind of hit everything throughout the module, and it's more meaningful.
So clarify, we're educators, so I know basal. When you threw that word out, what is a basal?
A basal reader is just your reading book that we would get when we were growing up, and it had just, you know, random stories like Sam the cat,
Right.
and they weren't high quality, they weren't authentic, and now kids in my classroom, we're getting good, like every book we read has a medal on it.
Right.
And they're getting to explore these texts, and it's more meaningful for the students.
Is there a favorite strategy that you have that's embedded into this Wit and Wisdom curriculum or with the state standards?
I have a couple of favorite strategies. One is the Notice and Wonder, which Commissioner McQueen actually saw. And we do Notice and Wonder strategy before I read the read
it's a
aloud for the
pre-reading
first.
strategy.
Yes, and it really sparks curiosity and background knowledge for the kids, so they become more interested in the story before it's even read. And also a Socratic seminar, which is a formal discussion that the children, we all sit in a circle and I kind of guide open-ended questions, and they're able to use accountable talk and learn from each other and add on to things that they agree with or disagree with, and it's amazing to see, especially in a first grade classroom.
And I think when we were in your class the day the commissioner was there, they were actually doing the Notice and Wonderings.
Yes, they were.
So they were all interested. I think you were looking at the cover of a book. What was on the cover of the book that they were so interested in? Do you remember?
It was the Rough-Faced Girl, and we're doing Cinderella stories. That's our Module 4 theme. And it was interesting to them because this wasn't a normal Cinderella, because she had her face covered and she just looked like an Indian.
Yes. So it wasn't the typical view, and it wasn't Dick and Jane see the cat. It was really a different perspective.
It's really great seeing, and I know it's time where this is the time where you really teach them the different strategies, because this is the time where they really start learning to love reading, right?
Right.
What are some of the different strategies that are inside of reading?
Well, the one, for example, that we were also doing when Commissioner McQueen was a vocabulary strategy called Outside In. And with this strategy, we find a word that we might not know the meaning, but instead of just saying, oh, go look it up in a dictionary, well, first let's look inside of the word and see if we see any words that we recognize, and then let's look outside of the word. Let's look at the illustration. Let's look at other words around this word in the sentence. And then when we think we have the definition, we read it again and we substitute that word with the definition to see if it makes sense. So, and then I like to have mine do a little illustration, because that'll help them remember what the word means in the future.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for teaching our children reading
thank you
and
for
other
having
subjects.
me.
Right after her tour of Farmington Elementary School, we were able to sit down and interview the commissioner for a moment. Before the break, we will hear about her experience touring our school and how the state of Tennessee envisions early literacy in the future. So thank you for coming today and seeing what we're doing in our schools. We know that you have a vision for literacy in the state, and the Read to Be Ready initiative, we've embraced it at Farmington. I can't thank Ms. Gassler and the school here enough for what they have done with that initiative. I can't wait to see what we do next. So first question is, what is your vision for expanding literacy in the state in our elementary schools?
Well, we kicked off Read to Be Ready a little bit over a year ago, and since then we have said the vision of ensuring all students are reading on grade level by the end of third grade is real. It's one that we're going to align to, and every year we're going to get better and better at making sure more of our students are reading. We have outcomes around making sure that our teacher prep institutions are actually using best practices as they're teaching teachers about reading. And then second, we want to ensure that the students who are farther behind during the summers get an opportunity through our summer camp program to actually catch up during the summer and not lose what they have gained during the year. We have a vision around ensuring that our students are ultimately using what they're learning in a course that's specific to reading or science, social studies, and math to actually build their own thinking skills. So this is around, Read to Be Ready has always been around building thinking skills. To make sure students also have that depth and rich understanding of what they're reading, because that's ultimately what's going to propel them to the real vision, which is ultimately to get them ready for success after high school graduation, that they can go seamlessly into any choice that they make, college, career, or some combination of both, and have the ability and confidence to do the work.
Great. Okay, so this one's more applicable, more practical. So speaking of Read to Be Ready, what did you see in the classrooms today that you thought were good examples of those initiatives around really thinking through the reading process?
Well, one of the most important things that I look for when I walk into a classroom that's teaching reading is, are the students engaged? Is there authentic text being used, and are teachers asking students questions about the text, which forces them to go back into the text and actually find evidence of their answer, whatever that answer may be. And I saw that today in your classrooms. I saw students actually excited about what they were reading. They had some intentional understanding around the vocabulary being used, around the depth of the actual theme or meaning from that book. And then we saw students that were holding real text, using real books to create a moment of interest around whatever was being taught. And so I definitely saw that in the classroom. I'd say the second thing I saw, teachers were clearly, they had planned. They had created an environment where they knew what they were going to do with the text that they had. They were very well organized. They were structured in the approach, but it was very kid-central and kid-centered. And so that was very present in the classrooms I saw today.
Well, good. Well, that concludes my two questions, and I think really we'll turn off the cameras, and it's time for you to ask us questions about how it's going here at the school. So
perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Excellence. We are excited to welcome Dr. Ted Fuller, who serves as our fine arts consulting teacher. Dr. Fuller has been working on a plan for the first annual GMSD Fine Arts Festival, which is coming up in May. Thank you for being here, Dr. Fuller.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about our fine arts in the district. Obviously, we have a lot that offer. Tell us about some of our programs.
Well, we have an absolutely outstanding, creative, talented group of students and teachers in our district. We offer everything from dance with our POM and our hip-hop dance clubs. We offer vocal music, K through 12. We have strings in every single school. We've added guitar to those strings, so it's not just violins and violas, cellos, and basses. We have an instrumental program as far as a band in all of our 6th through 12th grade. And also, we have a theater program, not just at the high school, but we also have theater clubs and productions at our other schools.
I think we could probably talk about each one of those because they're all pretty exceptional. So let's start with the strings. So tell us about the strings program.
The strings. Well, I love our strings program. One of the first things we did as a district was put strings in every single school. So we are the only municipality that started out with 5 through 12 string program, and that has really paid off. Our string program has expanded. It almost seems like I think we're going to triple it within 4 years, the number of students that we started with in the district. Our students are not just the numbers, but the quality. We have an amazing group of students. We dominate with All West auditions, which puts them against all the other students in West Tennessee. We almost always have first chairs, which is the best person on each instrument. And we also have a group of students, usually about half of the ones that make All West end up at All State. And All State, that's the best of the best in the state of Tennessee. And then beyond that, we usually have a few students that even qualify nationals, which makes them the best students in the entire country.
Okay, you said we have a lot qualify for All West. I think we probably broke a record last year. What does All West mean? What exactly does that mean?
All West. Well, All West is our regional competition, and we have it not just with strings, but with band instruments and with vocal music. And students have to sight read. They have to play some scales, and they also have to compete with, we call it a prepared piece. And all the students are judged on the exact same criteria. And again, it's the students with the highest scores are the ones that get into the group. So I'm very proud of our students, and I'm very proud of their teachers. They've done a wonderful job just getting the best out of these students.
And what schools can participate in All West?
All public and private schools in West Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
They just have to be a member of the West Tennessee Bandmasters or Band and Orchestra Association. Sorry.
Now, if strings is not my thing and it's not playing an instrument, we also have other opportunities for students, whether we're talking about visual arts or I think we were walking through the lobby recently and they're having their show right now. What are some opportunities with visual arts? So if drawing or painting is my interest.
Okay. With visual arts, it's part of our K-8 curriculum, meaning that every student in K-8 gets an opportunity to participate in visual arts. And then also in our high school, we have visual arts, not just to two-dimensional and three-dimensional, and also we include our production, we have our media arts. With our visual arts. And our students, again, are outstanding. Regionally, they compete in brace, we had a second grade winner at Riverdale for the International Memphis in May competition, poster competition. And then nationally, I'm very proud of this, they compete in Scholastic. It's a national art competition. I believe we had, I think, the most Gold Key winners we've ever had in competition with this group, and that includes middle school and high school students. And
I'm sorry, there's so much to talk about. So tell us a little about our course program, because I know that's huge too.
Our course program. Okay, again, we have course K through 12. We have strong programs in each of our schools. And they all feed into the high school program. So when you look at the high school program, you're really looking at the effects of all the programs put together. At the high school, we have our fifth measure, which is our award-winning, nationally ranked a cappella group. And they have not just performed here, but they also performed at the National Music Educators Conference down in Texas this year. They just recently performed at state. And if I'm not mistaken, they performed internationally this year in Italy.
Amazing.
Incredible. So when you look back and you think about our fine arts department, what makes you proud? What do you think is exceptional for Germantown schools?
Well, what I know is exceptional, it starts with our students. We have talented, creative, and driven students. I mean, anybody can play an instrument or they can draw, but really to the level that our students compete, it shows how they're driven. Their parents support them. We have if we look at our parent support organizations within all these groups, they're outstanding. They're always there for the students. And of course, the teachers, they can get the most out of these students. They drive the students, they help them create, they give them ideas, and really they do what they can to get the students in charge and take ownership of their groups.
Dr. Fuller, I'm sorry. Of course, we can't ever forget about the theater. We have an amazing theater program too. Now we have a arts festival coming up, and so I think we want to talk about that before we run out of time. So tell us about the arts festival.
Well, I do want to hit a little bit on theater. This was the first year we did a little collaboration, and we added the student orchestra with the theater production, and that's kind of what we want to do with this Fine Arts Festival. We're going to take the best that we have at every single school, and we're going to put them all together in one building and one really long continuous performance, so that people in the community, not just parents, but anyone who wants to see what we're doing can come in and they can experience the best of all of our programs.
And when is that?
That's going to be on May 13th. It's going to start at 9 o'clock. We're going to run till 3 o'clock. We're going to start with a vocal in the morning and also our theater. Then we're going to have our string groups come in and perform, not just our orchestral instruments, but also our guitar students. And then we're going to wrap the day up with our band students.
Oh, incredible. Well, thank you for all your work with our fine arts.
Right. Thank you.
It's been a great year in the fine arts department. Come help us celebrate their achievements by making time to join them on May 13th at the Germantown Performing Arts Center from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Before the break, we have a special performance from Thane, Timothy, and Sally Alkema live in the studio. These three siblings and Riverdale students will be performing at the festival.
4, 3, 2, 1.
This year at Farmington has been awesome because I feel like we've had a great balance between learning and really growing problem solvers and having fun. We've set records for all of our family events, so our community participation has been at an all-time high, and hopefully we can continue that into the future. But I really feel like we have done a great job of preparing our students for their next steps in their educational process, and I really think that is awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go!
I often say I work at Disney World, not Dogwood. This is the best place ever. We have the best kids and the best parents. This year we got 15 new classrooms, new AC units, we got portables, we got technology. Being around kids every day has been the best thing this year. But other than that, we got a new roof. We had one of the most amazingly successful fundraisers, Boosterthon, this year. Our parents came out in droves. We had a mother and son dance. We had a dolphin tail ball. We had the best fine arts night ever. Dogwood is the place to be.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go!
Every minute matters at Houston Middle. We love everything we do at Houston Middle. We play hard, we work hard, we have fun, we learn, we play dodgeball, we have dances, we have Haunted Houston. All of my staff love what they do. Day in and day out, our philosophy is every minute matters. We have, you name it, we do it. Even things I can't think of, we do it at Houston Middle School. This is the place to be, and it's exciting every day.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's been a great year here at Riverdale. We've had our challenges this year with construction, but we've made our way through it. We're looking forward to our new building next year. Our teachers have always worked so hard this year along with our students, and everybody's been so flexible this year as we've worked through our construction. Our students just finished TN Ready testing, and we know when those scores come back, they will have rocked that test out. It's been a great year. Our spring musical was wonderful, and we're just looking forward to a great summer and great year next year.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was a great year at Houston High School. Academics-wise, the highest district average ACT in the state. 30 and above club, 228 members, a record for Houston High. Fine Arts, we started the Fine Arts Academy. Our All-West numbers were the highest percentage of any school in the state. Orpheum Awards, 15 nominations. Fifth measure, second place nationally in the a cappella group. Athletics with our Jumbotron on the turf. Several district and regional titles. And our girls basketball team with state semifinals. That's a quick nutshell, 30 seconds. Great job, Houston High.
Welcome back. I am Superintendent Jason Manuel. Before the break, we were treated to the student trio from the Riverdale Strings program and a special video message from our GMSD principals. And now for our last segment, we would like to take a moment to recap all the great things that happened across the district this year. This is kind of a hard one for me, Mason, because...
Well, I think the way I'm thinking about it is, schools a lot of times say that students are our products. And so if we say that, with our product, we want to deliver a well-rounded student. So we want to make sure that they are academically prepared for their college and their future. We want to make sure they have that competitive spirit that they get through, athletics. We want to make sure that they get a heart of service through community service. And we want to make sure they get we foster creative spirit in them. So we look at those 4 things, and through the arts, So about the student as a scholar. So tell us a little about the student as a scholar.
Well, I think the challenge for us is we always have a rigorous curriculum for our students, and we think that we are pushing them to achieve great scores and be their best. So of course we continued again to have the highest ACT average in the state, and we were 24.9 ACT average. And I think it's special because the high school has really taken steps to make sure that they have a skinny period where they're focusing on ACT, and also we had a secondary take for our seniors to take the ACT. But I think it's more than that. When I look at all the opportunities for our students with courses and programs that we have, we're also meeting students at all levels of need. So with our students with special needs, we've really expanded programs for them. So this year we started a program at Bath Baptist, where they're actually going and working in Baptist Hospital and really serving in that capacity, so that they're getting on-the-job training for professions. And I think we've really made a commitment through our community conversations with Vanderbilt to serve our special needs population. And next year we're going to be hiring a facilitator who's actually going to place those students in really meaningful employment once they leave our district. So for me, those are some really big highlights for our students, but that's not all that we do.
No, those are just amazing things. And we talked a lot about the arts before and how there's so many opportunities for students there. But what about the athletic program? Tell us a little bit more about the athletic program.
Well, I think that's another area that outside of the school day, we're doing things that really allow students to perform at their highest ability. So with the 7 fall sports, all of those made it to state competitions and achieved high levels. Whether we're talking about the middle school basketball team at Houston Middle School that won the area's region basketball tournament, or talking about our girls basketball team at Houston High School that set a record for wins and they went far in the state tournament, or our wrestling team that actually made it to the team region, which they hadn't in the past year or so. So we're really achieving high levels with athletics, and we are really optimistic that we're going to continue our tradition of winning best of the preps for athletics, but we still have our spring sports to go, so they have to achieve at a high level in order for us to reach that award.
And it seems like there's a sort of a movement going on with athletics too. That it's not just about the team and the game, but what else is there going on?
Well, I think what's important for us is the culture of giving back to our community. Whether we're talking about our athletic teams that are going to our schools and really mentoring younger children, or we're talking about our groups that are really supporting civic activities at these events. So our classy versus trashy events, where we actually partnered with Collierville schools to raise money for St. Jude. We're really doing everything we can to really grow students. So like I said, this was a hard one for us because we're really trying to do our best for students, and there's so many accolades that all of these shows are based on. It's certainly been another exceptional school year, and we are once again proud to share some of the amazing stories with you on our show. If you'd like more information about this or any other show on Germantown Municipal Television, visit us on our website at www.gmtvonline.org. Until next time, this has been your Superintendent, Jason Manuel, for this month's installment of Germantown Municipal School District's Spotlight on Excellence.